श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Yeah, Sundari Venkatraman.
Yes,
let's chant from 37. Shri Bhagavanuvach
Shri Bhagavanuvach
Kama yesha krodha eshaha
Kama yesha krodha yeshaha
Rajo guna samudbhavaha
Rajo guna samudbhavaha
Mahashano mahapapma
Mahashano mahapapma
Vidhyena miha vairinam
Vidhyena miha vairinam
Dhumena vriyate vannihi
Dhumena vipriyate vahni
Yatha darsho malena cha
Yatha darsho malena cha
Yathol bena vrito garbhaha
Yatol bena vrito garbhaha
Tatha tenedamavritam
Tata tenedamavritam
Avritam jnanametena
Avritam jnanam etena
Jnanino nitya vairina
Jnanino nitya vairina
Kamarupena kaunteya
Kama rupena kaunteya
Dushpurena nalena cha
Dushpurena nalena cha
Indriyani mano buddhihi
Indriyani mano buddhihi
Asyadhisthanamuchyate
अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते
एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः
एतैर्विमोहयत् एषः
ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्
ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्
तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियान् यादौ
तस्मात् त्वम् इन्द्रियान् यादौ
नियम्य भरतर्षभ
नियम्य भरतर्षभ
पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनम्
पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनम्
ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्.
ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्.
Today we will resume with 42. Indriyani.
42.
Yeah.
Indriyani
Paranyahuhu.
Paranyahuhu.
Indriyebhyah param manaha.
Indriyebhyah param manaha.
Manasastu.
Manasastu
Para buddhihi.
para buddhihi.
Yo buddhehe.
Yo buddhehe
Paratastu saha.
paratastu saha.
Indriyani paranyahuhu.
Indriyani paranyahuhu.
Indriyebhyah param manaha.
Indriyebhyah param manaha.
Manasastu para buddhihi.
Manasastu para buddhihi.
Yo buddhe paratastu saha.
Yo buddhe paratastu saha.
Yeah. So I see some of you not chanting. This is a good practice to chant while we are doing this. So use this time to chant, not to look at the screen and say, what are the emails I received, WhatsApp messages. These days everywhere you can see all these things. So it looks as though they are all attending class like this, they're paying attention like this. But really speaking, they are looking at something else. Don't think I can't figure out, okay? So we are now in the concluding portion of chapter 3, where now Arjuna asked the question, tell me a little more about this kama. Or more precisely, tell me why people do what they do. And he has, people do what they do means he has Duryodhana in his mind. He's not worried about the rest of the world. His problem is Duryodhana. So why does he do this? And put me in a spot, and that's my problem. So problem finally is my problem. And why does he do that? So this is our question. Arjuna's question is our question. And so Bhagavan Krishna explained that this kama yeshaha, krodha yeshaha, and then he went through and in 40 further diagnosis of the problem, and he said this kama is located in this indriyas, sense organs, manaha, mind, and buddhi, intellect. And then he says tasmat, therefore you have to discover a distance between the sense organs and yourself, and master those sense organs. That is called damaha. Then mind. Well, master your mind also. And the mind is constantly moving, but you don't allow yourself to be carried away by that mind. Like that elephant, and the mahout knows how to control the elephant. Elephant's trunk is constantly moving around. And he was taking the elephant through this mela. Both sides there are shops, and there is only a narrow area. And the elephant will go and pick up everything. Anything it comes. And of course, everybody is doing namaskar to the elephant, but they don't want their things to be eaten up. And so the mahout gives a stick to the trunk. And once the stick is there, the trunk cannot do anything. It cannot pick up anything else. So like that, gain a mastery over your mind. That is called shamaha. So indriyani, manaha, buddhihi. Viveka is there. Keep your viveka. Continue to use that thing that we are all blessed with. And so that was so that we are going to come in this 40, that was said in 41. And prajahi hyenam, prajahi. So that papmanam, a very strong word he's using. And that kama, which is seated in these locations, you win over that kama. Okay. And now he is talking about indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddheh paratastu saha. So now he's asking Arjuna to discover a distance between the self and this indriyani manobuddhi. Discover a distance. You are not your desire. If your desires are not fulfilled, it may be okay. May not be reason for being sad. Why is that? Because desire is a blessing. Desire is a blessing, and you are not the desire. You're not your desire, you're not your mind, you're not your sense organs, you're not your buddhi. So he's saying that. And here, the Shama and Dhamma we talked about earlier. Tattvabodha, Shamaha, Mano Nigraha, Dhammaha, Indriya Nigraha. So mastery of the sense organs and mastery of the mind. And they are important, but still they are palliatives. They don't provide fundamental solution to my problem. And they're needed on a day-to-day basis. We employ them constantly. But the fundamental problem doesn't go away. So one thing about Dhamma and Shama is Dhamma, sense organs. It's more like a palliative. Palliative means, one has a headache. So I have a headache, so give me something so that I can relieve the headache. I'm relieved of my headache. So that's a palliative. But then repeated headaches, every morning headache, then there is a problem. Need to see the doctor. Taking this headache medicine is not enough. So then you have to find a fundamental solution. So like that, fundamental solution is always needed. And so for our problems, emotional problems, physical problems we can generally deal with. Emotional problems is where we need help. And Swamiji says, psychology. So a psychologist steps in and, we address our issues with that person, psychologist. And in this modern world, and even otherwise, those days also we had psychologists. Our Swamis were our psychologists. Our doctor was our psychologist. Our family doctor was the psychologist. All our problems, marriage problem, this problem, son, daughter, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, everything push on this fellow. And hey, you went for a simple headache. What happened? And you're bothering him with all your life's problems. And my third marriage and fourth marriage. Hey, there are a lot of people waiting outside and they should. And but anyway, that's how the culture was those days. And so that psychologist, Swamiji says, psychologists can point out to certain problems and go a little deeper and say, yeah, I know you're having all these issues, but I think you are unnecessarily blaming your mother and father. He might say, or he might say, yes, yeah, your parents didn't take care of you well enough. That's why you're having all these problems. Both of them, working, busy, very active people. and the child never had the mother, never had the father. Somebody is taking care of the child, and child is constantly looking for the God. For us, mother, for the child, mother and father are gods basically. Must be there to provide that security. Mother and father not there, child becomes insecure. So psychologist says, yeah, your mother is the cause for all your problems. Okay, so that's some insight, very important insight, and it helps validate the feelings. Psychologists will say, yes, I understand what you're going through, and I think it's because of these things. Now, Swamiji says, hey, you have found out the reason for your problems, but the reason is still there. Reason doesn't go away. Mother is still there. I have to deal with my mother. I have to deal with my father. I have to deal with whoever was quote unquote the cause of my problems. And so that thing constantly remains. And so this goes on. So Swamiji says psychology cannot cure the problem fundamentally. Fundamentally, it doesn't. It's a palliative. It helps. It provides some insights, provides validation, which is very important. So one doesn't condemn oneself. So a very crucial role psychology plays. But psychology has its limitations. Okay. And and so so here Krishna is telling us, you have to step out of the mind. You cannot solve a problem by remaining in the system that created the problem. System that created the problem. Problem is in the mind. Krishna says you have to step outside the mind in order to solve the problem fundamentally. You can't remain in the mind and try to solve the mind's problem. It won't work. You can get some relief here and there, no doubt. It's very important too. But fundamentally, you can't solve it. You have to step out. So imagine trying to, doctor wants to weigh, your toddler is there and the doctor wants to take the weight of this toddler. And he has to stand on that weighing machine. The toddler is active, jumping up and down. Okay. And you got to manage this fellow. You have to leave him on the weighing machine for at least for some time, few seconds, until the weight is there. And then you say, oh, come on, stand. No, don't shake, don't push, don't touch the wall, this, that, something. You have to tell him, because that weight has to be taken, means the boy has to be independent, standing there. Then the weight can be taken. There is a city planner and public policy, public administration. There's some department of city planning. And they must have a bird's eye view of the city. And I'm thinking like this. How do you plan a city? They must know exactly where are all the hospitals, where are all the water tanks, okay, where are all the electricity substations, everything they should know. They must map it all out. Those days, we didn't have Google Maps. And I'm sure they would have had all these, hand-drawn sketches. And I remember the first time I took a flight some time ago, some Hyderabad to Bombay or something I went. And first time you go and I have a window seat. Children always like window seats. I wonder why. So window seat, and then plane takes off. And then you look, and suddenly you see the whole city. And then say, mom, look. Hey, look at that. Tank Bund in Hyderabad. I grew up in Hyderabad. So I remember this. Hyderabad. What do you call that? Landmarks. So Tank Bund, because you can see something like that. And then is that our house? No, too late. Too late to look for your house. Okay, you should have looked for your house a minute earlier. Too late, because it's just become too much. And then you see all these roads and everything, and then you can see the whole thing, and it gives you a sense of, oh my God, this is the city I lived in. This is my city. So the city planner needs to have a bird's eye view. Only then that person can plan. Sitting somewhere in one corner, you can't really plan. So you have to step out in order to really look into what the current situation. So like that, Krishna here is saying you have to step out. And then how do you step out of samsara? How do you step out of this mind, intellect, indriyani? Arjuna has the idea. I want to go to Rishikesh. Step out of this battlefield. Well, that's not going to solve his problem. He knows that very well. Arjuna knows it. And we are not talking about a physical stepping out here. And it's a cognitive recognition, discovery of that distance between our likes and dislikes and ourselves. And so here Krishna borrows two mantras from Kathopanishad. You can look up, you can note this down, 1.3.10 and 11. First section of Kathopanishad, which has two sections. First section, third chapter, Tritiyo Adhyaya. Then mantra number 10 and 11. So there also, Indriyebhyah parahyarta atebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddher atma mahan paraha mahatah param avyaktam avyaktat purushah paraha purushana param kinchit sa kashta sa paragati. Like that, Kathopanishad, he is condensing those two shlokas, those two mantras into one mantra here. So let's see what he says. Indriyani parani ahuhu. Indriyani parani ahuhu. Ahuhu. Dese. Ahuhu. Dese. Dese. Okay. Dese means who say. So Shankaracharya helps us. Panditaha. Panditaha. Those who know. Pandas. Panditaha are Pandaha asya asti. Panda means knowledge. And those who know. Those who know what's what. They say ahuhu. Kim ahuhu? Indriyani parani iti ahuhu. Indriyani. The sense organs are superior. Parani. Superior. Superior. Okay. Superior here means what? Superior. So somebody is superior, I am inferior. This is the idea we get. In companies, they use the word superior. Superior means somebody whom you report to and somebody higher than that person, somebody higher than that person. They say superiors, they say. But they don't use the word inferiors, okay? They don't say inferiors. They only say superiors. Have you noticed that? So talk to your superiors. That's fine. So because again, inferior, negative connotation is there. So superiors. So here, there is not that kind of superior, inferior, no complex here. No superiority and inferiority complex. So superior means Shankaracharya helps us. And what is superior? So here, Indriyani parani ahuhu. Superior to the body, because Indriyani is subtle. What is superior has to be subtler. Sukshma. Sthula. Body is gross. Okay. Subtler than the gross body is the sense organs. Okay. So Sukshmatvam, Shankara says. Then he says, Mahantaha. Must be more pervasive. However, body is located at one point. Indriyani can reach out to the trees, to the mountains, even to the stars. So, pervasive. Senses are, even though located in their golakas, they say golaka. They use the word golaka in Sanskrit. Golaka means all the location points of these sense organs. Golaka, eyes are here, located here, etc. So, even though located in one place, they are able to pervade. They have access. Senses have access to things far away, far away. So, Mahantaha. Then Pratyagatma Bhutam, Shankaracharya says. Pratyagatma Bhutam. Closer to you. They go closer to you. The real you. Atma. Like that he says. The sense organs, obviously, Sukshma, located inside the body. And so these sense organs are superior, within brackets, to the body. To the body. And sense objects also, superior to the body and sense objects, every object, because objects are all located in one place, they're all gross, but sense organs are subtle, more pervasive and closer to the body. Three attributes which define what this superiority is. Okay, then what? Indriyebhyah param manaha. Param, again, param, superior. Manaha, mind is superior. Mind is superior to what? Indriyebhyaha, superior to the sense organs. Mind is superior. Why mind is superior? Mind can decide whether to turn on or turn off the sense organs. Because you're standing in the bus stand and waiting for the bus. And these days, I don't know whether this example is valid or not. I have to choose. I have to decide whether I should say this or not based on the audience. There must be few people in the audience taking the bus. Then only this example will work. So let's assume that's there. And so bus is waiting for the bus. He knows exactly which bus number, exactly what time, everything he knows. Every day he's been doing it. And today he's been waiting. And then after some time, he asked the neighbor, hey, did bus number 47 go or what? Yeah, just 1 minute ago it went. What happened? Because his mind was somewhere else. Mind was somewhere else. He is thinking about something. Maybe what he has to do at the office. Thinking about it. Presentation coming up. So this mind was active. Mind was very active. What about eyes? Eyes were also open only. He was not sleeping. He was not dozing off. Very much there. Didn't notice the bus come and go. Didn't notice. So mind. So the mind, manaha, indriyebhyaha, paraha. We know that very well. And said like this, this is very common experience for all of us. And Swamiji is talking, and then everybody is laughing in the class, and then I wonder what happened. Why? What happened? Because my mind was somewhere else. For a few seconds, mind was somewhere else. And Swamiji cracked a joke. So here also sometimes I observe. And whether when I say something, it's supposed to be humorous, okay? I think it is humorous anyway. And then whether it is working or not. So some people are laughing, so it makes me feel good, Yeah, okay, it worked. But then some people are still scratching their head. So which means what? Which means they suddenly the noise, decibel level went up, And then what happened? So wake up, and then what happened? At least in a class, you can look back and say, hey, Haim, what happened? What did he say? What did he say? You can say that. But unfortunately, all of us are locked in our rooms here like this. Nobody is there nearby. You can't ask anybody also. You're stuck. So now you have to wonder what happened. Did I miss this joke? Is it worth going back to YouTube one day later and looking up this joke? This is a different problem. Okay. It's not going to happen, but it's a serious problem. So we don't want another problem. Vedanta class should not create problems. It should only create solutions. Okay. So mind. Manaha indriyebhyaha param. Okay. Param. So why param? Sanskrit class students, you have to figure out why param. Why not paraha? Why not paraha? So because manas is napumsakam, neutral gender. Therefore, yeah. So param, not paraha. Then what? Manasastu para buddhihi. So there you must split these words. Manasaha tu para buddhihi. The intellect is superior to the mind. Because the mind has all kinds of ideas. The intellect says, okay, that's fine, enough. I will, enough, no more. Decide, the deciding faculty, the faculty that puts a full stop, the faculty that decides, yes, you're right, that's the way to go. Let's go to the movies. Okay, everybody is arguing. So one person says this, one person says that, this, it goes on and on. Then the buddhi comes and says, okay, fine, I think we've decided for now. And if we keep arguing more, we will end up, this becomes a real fight and we should enjoy the evening. So buddhi comes and resolves. And again in Kathopanishad, there's a beautiful imagery of this Ratha Kalpana. And some of you know this, and I mentioned it before. And so imagine a chariot. And might as well imagine Krishna's chariot. While you are at it, go for the best chariot. And imagine Krishna riding this chariot like this, 5 horses. Why stop with 1 horse or 2 horses? 5 horses are there. And then Arjuna is standing behind. And so there, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. So understand that Ratha Swami to be Atma. Okay, the one for whom the chariot is meant for. Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. Shariram Rathamevatu. This body, imagine this chariot to be the body. Or imagine the body to be the chariot, which is carrying the Atma. Okay. Shariram Rathamevatu. Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi. The Sarathi, Partha Sarathi, Krishna. Take that as a mind. That's the mind. Then what about that's the buddhi. Excuse me, take that back. That's the buddhi. Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi. Intellect. Then what about the mind? Manaha pragrahamevacha. The Krishna is holding the reins of the horses, the 5 reins. That's the mind. Those reins are the mind. The mind is there between the buddhi and the horses. Okay, Indriyani buddhi manah pragrahamevacha. And then Indriyani hayan ahuhu. Horses are the sense organs. And etc. it goes. Okay, and then sense objects, etc. That is a mantra, beautiful mantra. So buddhihi holding the reins of this chariot. And so buddhihi is param, superior. From there also we can see that. So here also manasastu para buddhihi. Buddhihi is strilingam, feminine gender, therefore para buddhihi, strilingam. Manasaha shashti, 6th case. So buddhi is superior to the manas. Okay. Then what? Buddhehe parataha tu saha. Buddhehe parataha tu saha. Very interesting way he concludes here. And so then there something bigger, more subtler than this buddhi? Yeah, there is something more than that. And that is that Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. In that Kathopanishad, understand that Ratha Swami to be Atma. The one for whom this whole mind, intellect, everything is given, that entity, Saha. He uses the word Saha for that. Okay. Buddhehe parataha tu Saha. That which is superior to the buddhi is Saha. Saha means in Sanskrit, he. Okay. Without saying what he is saying that. Shankara comes to our rescue. Shankara says, he is Paramatma. Drashta, uses 2 words. Drashta, the seer. The one who is the seer of the seen, seer of the eyes. That is Saha. Drashta. And that Saha, that is Atma. Kenopanishad comes to my mind now. Student asked the question, Kene shitam patitam preshitam manaha. Hey, teacher, tell me this. Is there somebody behind my mind? Is there somebody behind my senses? And then the teacher says, yes, chakshushas chakshuhu, manaso manaha, That Atma is the eye of the eyes. That Atma is the mind behind the mind. Like that, he gives an explanation. Okay. So that Saha, Buttehe Parataha tu Saha. On the other hand, that which is superior to the mind, the intellect, superior to the intellect, is Saha, Paramatma. So Arjuna, Krishna is saying, you fundamentally, if you want to solve your problems, you've got to know yourself. Atmanam Vijanihi, you have to know it. There's no other way. And so even in the third chapter, we saw certain things. So like verse number 18, Naiva tasya krite narthaha na krite neha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya. Talking about the wise person for whom everything is as good as done. Nothing remains to be done. All problems are solved. Fundamentally, problem is solved. And second chapter also we saw. So verse number 55, we saw Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. That person recognizing Atma is happy with oneself, being oneself. And we saw all that. So that is being said here. So Krishna takes Arjuna from the body to the senses, to the mind, to the buddhi, and then says some Atma superior to the buddhi. This is called, there is a Nyaya in Sanskrit called Arundhati Nyaya. Arundhati Nyaya. Very interesting. My goodness, our Shastra is just amazing. Arundhati. The first time in our culture they hear about Arundhati is during marriage. And if the person is lucky and if there's somebody explaining, then the person will know. But they will take, at least in the South Indian marriages, they will do this. So marriage is happening and suddenly they will say in the night time they're supposed to do this. They're supposed to bring the couple outside on a starry night and then supposed to do this exercise. And they will say, do you see that tree? See, do you see that star? Because the objective is to see a particular star. Now, how are you going to see a star? There are so many stars there. You can't see a star from here. Okay, you see many stars. Do you see many stars? Yes, I see many stars. But do you see that particular star that is bright? No, that particular star that is bright is not it won't work. Okay, so they will say, do you see that tree? Yes, I see that tree. Which tree? Oh, there are 3 trees there. Yeah, the tallest tree. Correct. That tall tree. Correct. Okay. So that we have identified. And do you see the top of the tree? Yeah, I see the top of the tree. Do you see the right side of the top of the tree? Yeah, I see the right side of the top. Do you see a branch that is kind of jutting out a little bit? Yes, I see it. And you see the branch that is forking like this? Yeah, I can see that it's forking. Do you see a star there in between, bright object? Yes, I see it. Do you see another star near that bright star? Yes, that also I see. That is Arundhati. Okay, that is Arundhati. What about the bright star? That is Vashishta. That is Vashishta. And it's in this constellation, Big Dipper, Ursa Minor. They use all these. The modern words are there. And these 2 pairs, it's called some Alcor, Mizar and Alcor or something like that. I forget the names now. Mizar and Alcor. They have some names for all these things. And they figured out all these things long ago. Because these 2 stars are always together. And they seem to be rotating around each other. Vashishta around Arundhati, Arundhati around Vashishta. And so the objective of this whole exercise, and where these people don't understand what's going on, and we don't know who understands. We have to ask the question, does anybody understand what is going on? Somebody should put people on a spot, you should see in marriage, everybody is just watching and enjoying. They're all, our marriages is just joy, just pure joy. And everybody is having fun. I think for that reason, everybody goes. And only the person who is paying out of his pocket, that person may be worried and it is stressful, but everybody else is enjoying. Okay. And no, it's not like that's not true. Everybody enjoys. And, so this particular exercise, they have figured out you must be like Vashishta and Arundhati. You both must be like that. They are the ideal couple, so to speak. And so this Nyaya, so here that Krishna is using that Nyaya. Saying, okay, do you know the body? Yeah, I know the body very well. Come on, Krishna. What are you talking? Okay, good. So, do you know you're not the body? Oh, I'm not the body. Yeah. Then who am I? I'm the senses. Yeah. Senses, more subtle than the body, but you're not the senses. You're not the mind. You're not the intellect. You are Atma. Like that. That Nyaya is being used here by Krishna. And so therefore, when I gain a distance between myself and my sense organs and mind and buddhi, then what happens? Well, previous shloka, kamaha, desire resides on these three. Therefore, I gain a distance. I discover a distance between me and my likes and dislikes. Okay, look at that. Diagnosis was done. Symptom, diagnosis, now solution. Okay. And so once I discover a distance, then I can manage my desires. Then desires will become a privilege. Desires become privileges. That's why we say Icha Shakti. Icha is Shakti. Otherwise, Icha is not Shakti. Icha is an enemy. He says enemy here. Right? Paripanthino. Likes and dislikes. He has used the word. Papmanam. He is a sinner. So, whether desire can be a sinner or not, I have to decide. And so, that is how here Krishna says, let's go back to the shloka. They say, Ahuhu, we are translating the shloka, they say that the sense organs are superior. Ahuhu indriyani parani. Okay, they say the sense organs are superior. Within brackets, you can say to the body. To the body. Semicolon. The mind is superior to the sense organs. Manaha indriyebhyaha param. The mind is superior to the sense organs. Semicolon. The intellect is superior to the mind. Buddhihi manasaha tu para asti. Full stop. Whereas to the one who is superior to the intellect, yaha buddhehe parataha asti. The one who is superior to the intellect is he, saha. Within brackets, you can say Atma. Atma. Atman. So they say that the sense organs are superior, within brackets, to the body, semicolon. The mind is superior to the sense organs, semicolon. The intellect is superior to the mind. Full stop. You can put an and in between if you want. Whereas the one who is superior to the intellect, buddhihi, is he, within brackets, the Atma. So this takes us to the last shloka of this chapter. Evam buddhev param buddhva. Let's chant that. Okay. Anybody who hasn't chanted in a while? Mahesh, go ahead. Mahesh Subramanian. Evam buddhehe.
Evam buddhehe.
Param buddhva.
Param buddhva.
Samstabhya.
Samstabhya.
Atmanam atmana.
Atmanam atmana.
Jahi shatrum.
Jahi shatrum.
Mahabaho.
Mahabaho.
Kamarupam.
Kamarupam.
Durasadam.
Durasadam.
Evam buddhev param buddhva.
Evam buddhe param buddhva.
Samstabhyatmanam
Samstabhyatmanam atmana.
Jahi shatrum mahabaho.
Jahi shatrum mahabaho.
Kamarupam durasadam.
Kamarupam durasadam.
So let's look at the shloka here. So there are two words here. First line, three verbs actually. Buddhva is one verb. Having understood, then the next verb is samstabhya. Samstabhya means having made steady, having steadied. Okay. And then another verb is jahi. 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 Jahi means destroy. Three verbs are there. So let's look at one verb here. Samstabhya atmanam atmana. So here the words atma comes 2 times, it comes. So samstabhya, having mastered the mind. Having mastered, having made steady. Having made steady what? Atmanam. Atmanam. Atmanam here means what? Having steadied the mind. And Swamiji here says, the mind. Having steadied the mind. And how? Atmana. Atmana. By oneself. By oneself means by one's own effort, by one's own understanding, having steadied the mind. And how do you steady the mind? Well, evam buddhehe param buddhva. Evam, in this manner that I've told you, in this manner I've described so much psychology, I've described in this manner, I've told you about the sense organs, mind and intellect, and I've told you where I've told you the desires are your enemy. They become your enemy. If you don't take care of them, they become your enemy. And so, in this manner, buddhva, having understood, having known or knowing, having known what? Param. Buddhehe param. That which is superior to the intellect. The saha, the word saha in the previous shloka. Having known that paramatma, having known that atma. Okay, in this manner. Okay. Having known. And Shatrum Jahi. Shatrum Jahi. Shatru, enemy. Correct? Enemy. Shatrum Jahi. That Kamam, Shatrum, what kind of enemy it is? Kama Rupam. The enemy, which is nothing other than your own karma, in the form of karma. Okay. And then Jahi, destroy that enemy. Destroy means what? Ichha Shakti, remember, you can never destroy desire. You can never destroy. This is where all this funny understanding can come. Jahi Shatrum, destroy your desire. Calm, uproot all desires. And then these people go on big meditation sessions and they're trying to uproot desire. Hey, how can you uproot desire? It is like saying uproot your eyes. Why should I uproot my eyes? No, desire is like the eyes, like the mind. It is part of me. It is Ichha Shakti. It is a blessing. It is supposed to help me. And just because it doesn't, I'm trapped by it, doesn't mean you can destroy the senses or destroy the desires. No, you can't. So that's why Jahi Shatrum. This is where all the beautiful schools of thought come and they take you on a ride. And this ride is going to be a long ride. You know why? Because nobody can destroy desire. Nobody can remove desire. Desires, let them be. You are not the desire. Therefore, you can watch the desire. You can smile. I got a desire. I got a desire to go to moon. Okay, what a funny desire it is. Why should I want to go to moon? You can laugh at the desire. You can laugh at yourself. Look at my mind. How crazy it is. You can laugh at it. You don't have to watch any television. No human show. Nothing is needed. You just look at your mind. That is enough. You don't need television at all. At the end of the day, you can say, my God, this mind, you can just go. You can replay the movie the whole day and just laugh at yourself. And so, Jahi Shatrum, just laugh at it and just watch the desire. And that is the way to destroy your desire. And then another adjective he gives for this Shatru. Durasadam, difficult to understand. Difficult to understand, correct? Difficult to understand. Means we are all caught up. And once you're caught up in it, it is just difficult. It's like a whirlpool, just takes me over. And and so, why it's difficult to understand? Well, that's the way it is. I don't have any choice. Ignorance is the root cause. And I am born ignorant. And unless somebody points out and says, hey, wait a minute, don't get caught. And you are more than your desires. You're more than what you're seeking. Question you're seeking. Somebody has to come and say that. So that ignorance being the cause of all this Shad Ripu. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Desire, anger, Lobha, greed, Moha, delusion, misplaced priorities, Mada, aggression, aggressiveness, Matsarya, jealousy, Shad Ripuhu, 6 enemies. But the mother of the 6 enemies is ignorance. And therefore, Evam Buddhev Param Buddhva. Knowing that Atma, that is superior to this intellect and mind, etc. And because karma is difficult to understand. He didn't say Atma is difficult to understand, okay? He says karma is difficult. Because you can keep on asking why this, why that. That is why the psychologists can also help to some extent. But after that, you cannot ask your psychologist, why is my mother like that? You can't ask that. Well, you bring your mother here then. That's what he'll say. Don't ask me why your mother is like that. So this is a good business, I think. I also feel like if I ever need some money, I should put a board outside. Something like that. I don't know, with a beard like this and all, I don't know if people will come to see me. But I think the psychologist is supposed to help. But Durasadam, because even the psychologists cannot go beyond a point. Cannot go beyond a point. And so reason, there is always a reason for that reason. There is always another reason for that reason. So Durasadam. But it can be put to an end. How? Evam Buddhev Param Buddhva. By knowing that. param, that Atma, then you have you are now, you can say, desires are privileges. Privileges. A privilege is something you can live without. Correct? Swami used to say, modern life, progress is converting necessities to luxuries. Converting necessities to luxuries. That is progress. That's progress. 20 years ago, I was not dependent on the cell phone. Now I'm dependent on the cell phone. It was a luxury. Air conditioner was a luxury. Now I can't live without it. Car was a luxury. Car was a luxury means occasionally somebody would bring. Uncle will come in a car and then he will say, Mama, polama. So we used to go. He used to come, let's go for a ride. And then we used to go on a ride. Oh my God, it was great. Now car is a necessity. And so everything has become a necessity. Here, Krishna is suggesting, maybe you can begin to look at every necessity and ask, is this a necessity and can I convert it into a luxury? Can I convert it into a luxury? Then desire becomes a privilege. And for that, I have to look at all these things. Question is, how do I do it? Means, what should I do in order to recognize Atma? Well, there are all these steps we have to do. We have to recognize that everything we have is a blessing. And so look at everything as a luxury. My God, today is a nice day. Sunny day, it's not raining. And luxury, amazing. I'm blessed. Let me thank Aditya Devata. He's shining. The other day we saw, that day it was a cloudy day, I remember. Today it's nice and sunny. And blessing. Everything is a blessing. Recognize everything, blessing. A child, neighbor's child comes running to you and says something. Blessing. Blessing. And normally people run away from us. Somebody coming running towards you, blessing. Oh my God, somebody wants to talk to me. My God, that's a blessing. And so like that, we have to laugh at ourselves and look at everything like that. And so how nice it is that Krishna could conclude this chapter called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga. And then concluding with knowledge. Buddhva. Knowledge, recognizing the Atma, that Atma Vidya, he concludes with. So, so we have a couple of more things. We'll do that in the next class. We'll conclude it with the Om Tat Sat, etc. So let's look at the shloka. And one more word I did not explain, Mahabaho. Oh, mighty armed. He's using the word Mahabaho. Some commentators say that he's using that because he's reminding Arjuna, you're not helpless, you're mighty armed. You have all the capacity even to deal with all this karma, etc. You are fully capable, emotionally capable, spiritually capable. And so, hey Mahabaho, like that he says. So, hey Arjuna, Kama, Mahabaho, the mighty armed. Knowing that which is superior to the intellect, knowing that which is superior to the intellect, buddhehe param buddhva, in this way, evam, kama, knowing that which is superior to the intellect in this way, having made the mind steady with the buddhi, Atmanam, Atmana samstabhya. Stambha dhatu. You know, in Tamil, Hindi and all, you stambha. Stambha nu solluvaanga, yeah, stambha. So dvaja stambha, etc. So that solid piece of column, the staff that is there, a flag staff, things like that. That's called a stambha. So same thing here also. Make your mind like that, steady like that. Like that stambha. So here, having made the mind steady with the buddhi, comma, destroy the enemy, jahi shatrum, shatrum jahi, destroy the enemy, that is in the form of binding desire. That is in the form of binding, you can put in brackets. That is in the form of binding desire. Kama Rupam. That is in the form of binding desire, kama, that which is so difficult to understand. That which is so difficult to understand. Not Atma. That kama is so difficult to understand. So Arjuna, the mighty armed, knowing that which is superior to the intellect in this way, kama, having made the mind steady with the buddhi, kama, destroy the enemy, kama, that is in the form of binding desire, kama, that which is so difficult to understand, durasadam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So next class you can bring your Bhagavad Gita book of verses. So I'll be summarizing chapter 3, and so it's good to have that shlokas in hand. We may even chant chapter 3. And I will explain this last portion, Om Tat Sat, Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su. And I'll also explain the meaning of Omkara. So all that we will do in the next class.